This is the easternmost tip on the entire continent.
In this video, we reach the end of North America, complete our final Newfoundland expedition, and begin the journey to the nation's capital.
We are going to arrive at the very easternmost point of North America in Cape Spear with 69%. Can't make this stuff up. So this is what the road is like heading to the easternmost point of North America. So we're heading uphill, round and round these curves, uphill the whole way up out of St. John's. We're coming downhill now. There's the mighty Atlantic Ocean. We are descending here just the last mile. There it is. See it right ahead. That is the end of North America.
One more step back, I'm going to go off this cliff and into the Atlantic Ocean, because this is the end, not only of Canada, but all of North America. This is the easternmost tip on the entire continent. This is Cape Spear, Newfoundland, the mighty Atlantic Ocean behind me. Here's the operating lighthouse. We can see the light going up there. Here's the original lighthouse from the 1800s. This is it, guys. Land's End, heading east. The next stop is England. Well, here's Newfoundland's oldest surviving lighthouse, built in 1836. It's a stone tower on the inside with a timber frame house built around it. I can't believe how windy it is here. I mean, it is just incredible. I would say not far off what it was on the top of Gross Morn. Well, maybe not that bad. That was terrible. But the wind is still ripping through here. I'm up on the top of this point, and I'm heading out to the old fort. They had set up here with guns pointed to defend this entire area. This defense embattlement was extremely important here, so we're gonna go and have a look at what remains of it. Well, here you go, guys. Want to see some guns? Here you go. Look at the size of this thing. This is one of the original guns that was here. The mounting brackets for it are all gone, but you can see the remnants of where there was a track around, and this gun would be able to swivel over here and swivel over here, and my understanding is that it had some ability to raise up and down. Look at the size of the shell that it'll take. Can't even talk here, it's so windy. Look at this thing. Well, guys, here's the copper plaque. Cape Spear, the most eastern point in North America, and it gives our geographical coordinates. And here we are. This is it, guys. This is the point right here. There it is, Cape Spear, the easternmost point in Newfoundland, Canada, and the entirety of North America. Glad I got to make it to this spot. It's a big accomplishment for me. Now I've traversed the entire country. I've gone all the way to Tofino, Vancouver Island. Walking here in Tofino, and I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't look right. These are palm trees in Canada. Yes, there are palm trees in Canada. This is Vancouver Island, Tofino. Unbelievable. All the way here to Cape Spear. Accomplished the mission. I'm feeling good, but I'm ready to head home. So I'm looking forward to hopping in the Tesla and making our way back to Ontario. Well, here we are, guys. This is Signal Hill, and this was a very important point. Well, it still is, but it certainly was way back when. Those masts on the tower up there were used to fly flags, to warn and communicate with ships coming into the harbor. St. John's Harbor is over here. And of course, where we were this morning, Cape Spear is right off in the distance there. We can barely make out the white lighthouse right there on the point. Look at this beautiful rainbow here. Look at these views of St. John's Harbor. And here we are. This is Cabot Tower. So let's go take a look. Here we are at Drive Electric in Newfoundland. They've got some level 2 chargers out front here, got the Kia Niro plugged in, as well as the Plaid. So thank you very much to these guys for the free charge. Check out this really cool education facility that is doing an incredible work here in St. John's, Newfoundland, to promote and educate the actual facts on electric vehicles. And just like what I'm doing with my trip, going across Canada and proving that you can go coast to coast on the second largest country in the world by landmass in an all-electric vehicle without an issue. These guys are doing the same and educating, they're dispelling myths and getting the true word out that electric is a superior technology and it is clearly the future.
So here we are at Terra Nova Welcome Center. Got the Plaid plugged in here, ready to set up camp. Plugged into the Tesla chargers here. Gonna have some dinner, and then maybe watch a show, get bedded down, and then get on the road in the morning. Well, good morning from Terra Nova National Park. We had one of the most beautiful charging spots on the entire trip here. There's a gorgeous lake behind me that's just misting off because it's cold out. This is the coldest morning on the entire trip, -9 degrees Celsius, but we've got an incredible sunrise. Let's go check it out. We're just leaving Terra Nova Park, heading through Gander. I actually didn't go through Gander earlier because we went up and around to the Sir Frederick Banting plane crash site. So we're gonna go through Gander. At one time, Gander had the largest airport in the entire world. So it's a pretty cool spot. It's where all the planes landed during the emergency of 9/11, and musicals come out of that called Come From Away. So just an incredible musical, actually displaying the hospitality of the wonderful Newfoundlanders. Well, just by a stroke of luck, I bumped into Brian Williams, who is the Tourism and Development Officer here in Gander, Newfoundland. And he walked up to me, he's like, "Hey, do you want to take a picture with the car?" I'll put that up right now. I said, absolutely. I said, I've got a little YouTube channel. I'm just doing a little story here on Gander's assistance that they gave during 9/11, landing those 38 aircraft here in Newfoundland that were coming from transatlantic flights. He says, well, he's like, I was there. He's like, I worked on it all. He says it was forever etched in everyone's memory here in Gander, Newfoundland. So I'll play the audio clip of Brian Williams talking. He didn't have much time. He was running into a meeting, so I'll play that audio clip right now.
That American airspace is closed. Then they had to figure out a plan. So it gave them about an hour to let Gander know you're going to land as many as possible. So the aircraft that were not quite halfway over were turned back. Those that were beyond the halfway point had to land somewhere on the East Coast.
Yeah.
We were chosen for 38, partly because we were the biggest airport in the world at one point in time, so we had tremendous parking here.
Yeah.
And also because there's not much to run into.
So it's 38 aircraft that landed?
38 aircraft, 34 commercial, 4 military, all jumbos, just short of 7,000 people. and
7,000.
just short of 7. We were about 9,200 people in Gander at the time.
Yeah.
And air traffic control basically were told to give the pilots only enough information to get them down. And when some of the pilots got down, they were a bit hesitant. Well, I'm on the way to New York. You can't keep me here.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know. And then they had the pilots debriefing session, and okay, so they are here.
So they brought all those pilots in from those 38 aircraft into a meeting room.
Into a meeting room there, and
Okay.
there were several parked right here.
Yeah.
There were more parked along. Shoot, I wish I had time.
Yeah.
My
No,
meeting
that's
was
all
gonna be a
right.
couple of
That's all right.
hours.
I appreciate it.
I was managing the aviation museum, which is down on the highway.
Okay.
Now I work for the town, and
How do they feed them?
well, we're fortunate that we have the Red Cross is based here, with Salvation Army is based here. We have Canadian military base here, so we were able to provide with the cots and
Yeah.
the pillows and the mattresses.
Okay.
But the food was another matter, and so local people anteed up the food, and the Salvation Army did as well.
Wow.
But what we found is that there just wasn't enough food in Gander in the grocery stores, so the local grocery stores commandeered trucks from other parts of Atlantic Canada, steered them away from their stores, brought them here. Then we had the problem of where do we refrigerate all this, because we didn't know. We thought it would be a couple of days, it was 6 days. So the our local community center had just put down ice for a hockey camp.
Yeah.
So we kicked out the kids, and we put all the pellets of food onto the ice. We met all of Canada's, Health Canada's requirements for keeping products cold.
Yeah.
And so the Salvation Army would come in a truck and take a pallet of
Wow.
so
Yeah.
whatever.
Wow.
And
Incredible.
It was an amazing week.
Yeah.
I just searched for a business. I don't have a business card on me, which is really strange,
Yeah.
because I'd love to send you.
What's your name?
My name is Brian. Brian Williams.
Josh West. Nice to
Good
meet you.
Josh.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, I appreciate that insight. Thank you very much, Brian. Have a good one.
Well, this is only the second Tesla I have seen in Newfoundland. It is a red Model Y behind me here.
Well, here we are at the former site of a Royal Canadian Air Force seaplane base. They've now turned it into the Botwood Floating Plane Museum. Check out this cool artwork behind me here on the side of the hangar. Very, very cool. They've got a floating plane exhibit right around the corner. We're gonna go check it out. I guess that's what I get for arriving here in November, but the museum is closed. However, they have this beautiful aircraft behind me here, and I've been learning a little bit about the Botwood area here. What's interesting is that this is the former site of a Royal Canadian Air Force base, but it's one of the only bases that doesn't have any runways. Why is that? Because every plane that flew out of here was a seaplane, much like the one behind me here. They all floated out when they were taxiing for takeoff, and of course would land right on the water. Many of them did have wheels that extended out the bottom of the hull so they could be brought up on land or land on the land, obviously. But there was a pad back here where aircraft could be brought up to be serviced and maintained. So it's really interesting to see some of the history here. What's unique is that behind me here, this bay is called the Bay of Exploits, and a unique name. But the cool thing about it is that it was actually the basis for transatlantic flight dating back into the late 1930s. In fact, June 1939, aircraft took off from here, from Pan American Airlines, and flew directly to Ireland. So it's hard to believe that this little body of water here in Newfoundland served as the basis point for transatlantic flight for quite some time. So back in the 1940s, a very famous person was right here in Botwood, repeatedly actually, for work, for flying. Charles Lindbergh, he was the first person ever to fly alone across the Atlantic from New York City to Paris. That distance, over 3,000 miles, almost 5,600 kilometers, but he was 33 hours in the air by himself. And of course, he won many, many awards over his career. But Charles Lindbergh himself, there's actually photos to prove it, of him and his wife Anne right here in Botwood to fly out on transatlantic flights. So that's exciting to hear of an aircraft hero, an aviation hero, I should say, right here in Botwood. And of course, there was many more incredible flights that took place here. Of course, military operations as well as passenger. And some of these planes were actually enormous. I mean, this plane is a good size behind me, but I'm talking there were some big jumbo floating planes that were coming out of here. Really interesting history here, even just the design and the idea behind a water-based airport. Of course, there's so much less cost involved because you don't have to build out those runways. Now, the only issue comes is, of course, in the winter when the water does freeze over, but there are pictures of some of these planes being outfitted with skis, if you can imagine, to be able to land on the snow and ice. So there goes the ingenuity for you here, but so much history here in Newfoundland and right here in Botwood. Well, I'm here at the Charger in Southbrook, which is approximately halfway between Deer Lake and Gander, or actually more like halfway between Deer Lake and Grand Falls, Windsor. Anyways, this is only the second time on the entire trip through Newfoundland that I've had to wait for the fast charger. The other time was when I got into St. John's, and there was that Hyundai Ioniq 5. Here we've got another Hyundai, but this time it is a Ioniq 6 that is charging. It's only got about 8 minutes left, so not a big deal. I just threw in the level 2 just to get a couple extra percent and keep the battery warm here. But we're at a little restaurant and gas bar called Eddie's Restaurant. So I'll be getting plugged in, getting on the way. But overall, it's been a pretty seamless experience here in Newfoundland.
Well, we are coming into what was snow and now freezing rain, just coming into Deer Lake here. So we are experiencing some slippage, but gonna pull in here. They've got the chargers here at the Deer Lake Big Stop. And I'm just gonna grab a quick, 10% or something, just to top us up, just in case, you never know.
Well, we finally made it to Corner Brook here, and we're outside Willie's Pub. We got the Plaid parked up here. It is teeming freezing rain here, but we're gonna go inside and get screeched in here in Newfoundland.
From the waters of the Avalon to the shores of Labrador, we always stick together with a rant and a roar.
It's not shores of Labrador, though.
Soon they'll understand. From coast to coast, from race to coast, we love the Newfoundland. Go, you're gonna repeat after me. Large Thunder and Jesus bite.
Large Thunder and Jesus bite.
Yeah. You sure? Good job. Me nerves are rub raw.
Oh, me nerves, they rub raw.
That's pretty good. I should get 2 long ones. Hey, and now you can. I think he's a Newfoundlander. He's just making me do this at a slow. We're not a Newfoundlander. Woo!
Well, we did it, guys. We got screeched in. I'm an official Newfoundlander now. What an experience that was.
Well, good morning here from Corner Brook. We camped out right here at the Charger, and nobody bothered us, which was great. At the Irving gas station, we rolled in a pretty crazy ice storm. You can still see remnants of the ice here on the road. So it looks like it's cleared up. In fact, it feels like it's warmed up a little bit. It's still a cool breeze coming through, but not the ripping cold like it was yesterday. So hopefully we'll have a little better drive. Got a couple-hour drive down to Aux Basques to catch the ferry. I did receive notice from the ferry that things might be delayed because of weather and wind and things like that. So we got to get down there a couple hours before boarding. So let's get on the road. Well, a little while back, I saw signs for high wind, danger, high wind, and now this is the second overturned trailer. Just vehicles getting blown over here, headed down towards Aux Basques. That's probably why the ferry was delayed.
All right, guys, we're not getting out of Newfoundland without another hike. We're gonna hike the Barachois Falls trail here, and it's right along the bottom edge of Newfoundland, about 40 minutes east of Aux Basques, right along the southern coast of Newfoundland. So let's get to it. It's crazy windy out here. I'm just getting bundled up, but there's an incredible waterfall that you guys gotta see. Wow, it's a hike to get in here, but you can hear the waterfall already. The pathway's getting narrower and rockier. I think it's a little flooded here. Wow. Well, I don't think I can go any further. No, I can't go that way, and this part's flooded here. Oh my goodness, it's glorious. Well, that was a great hike. Highly recommend it. I'll put a link to the Google Map location in this video. Definitely recommend get up there and see this falls. It's a solid hike. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it and the drone footage and all that good stuff. Gonna hop back in the car here and head down to the ferry, and hopefully we can make it across to Nova Scotia tonight. We'll see you later. Okay, well, I just found out from one of the locals. Well, okay, let's just rewind for a sec. Finished that previous hike and I was like, oh, let's explore a little further, see how far this road goes. Anyways, it keeps twisting and turning through all these hills and rocks and all this sort of thing. Come across this cool, like old, like mining dam, and there's like a little pier, well, kind of a decent sized pier with a ferry that goes to some island somewhere. Anyway, so I keep following the road, and then I see a sign for a lighthouse, and the locals say it's really cool to check out. So anyways, I came up through this like single lane through all these rock crevices. Anyways, I'm up here, and we're gonna take a little hike and check out this lighthouse. So we just left the car back there. Look, we're already seeing some gorgeous sights here. Look at this bay here, this little cove. We're just pulling up to the ferry terminal here. All right, so they want us to go through this tunnel. Okay.
Hey guys.
Hello there, how are you doing?
Good. Do you need a booking number or?
Well, you will when you go through here.
Okay.
To Marine Atlantic, there should be a ticket booth on the left.
Okay.
But I think you're already ticketed, so
Yep.
you'll just need to see the traffic director and he'll spot you in the parking lot.
Oh, perfect.
Anyways, before you get into there, we just need to know you're not traveling with any agricultural products?
No.
No plants, no vegetables?
No,
anything like that?
nothing whatsoever.
Right ahead, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so sorry about the bang, but wow, okay, that was new. These guys wanted to know if I was bringing any vegetables, plants, or agricultural products off of Newfoundland and onto the mainland. That's interesting.
All right, so it is a full ship tonight. Look at all the trucks.